So guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Gift and you're welcome to Gift and See Couture. So in today's tutorial, I want to show you how to cut a shirt, a female shirt with collar, with a two-piece collar. Alright, so the first thing you are going to do is to measure the length of your dress. Okay, now I want mine to be 42. Okay, so I'm going to measure 42 here. Okay, so now, and another thing is so that you won't just waste your fabric, the first thing you're going to do is to measure 2.5. Okay, you divide your hip measurement because that's the biggest part of your body, either your wherever is bigger, either your bust or your hip, whatever, you divide by 4 and you add 1 inch to it. You know it's not a fitted shirt. Okay, and then you add another one to it. So whatever you have, that will be your folding of fabric. Okay, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is to measure 2.5. The 2.5 is going to be used for the placket, where the button is going to be. That's what it's called, placket. By on my shoulder line. Okay, my shoulder front, you know, the shoulder front is different from the shoulder back. All right, so the shoulder front is 12.5, so I'm going to add 1 inch to it, making 13.5. So after adding that, I'm going to divide it by 2. Now 13.5 divided by 2, okay, is going to give me 6.7. So this is the 6.7 is, this is 6.5, so this 0.2 here added to it is going to give you 6.75. okay, so now I'm going to place my tape roll and on where I marked it, so I'm going to come down by 1.5 to get the shoulder slope. Okay, and then I'll connect it to here. Okay, so on that my shoulder point, I'm going to come up by ½ inch, which is going to serve as my joining allowance. You can see the way I connected it slantly. So now let's go. So now the next measurement I'm going to do is to measure my across chest. Now my across chest measurement, how to get the length of your across chest measurement, you don't just put it anywhere. So you're going to divide your bust by 6. Whatever you have, you had 1.5 to it. Now what I've already done that, and I know mine is 5.66666. Forget about the 5.666 behind, then add 1.5. so whatever I have, it's going to be the length of yours. So mine is 7.1. okay, so actually use 7 here because I know the chalk is going to add to it. So after measuring my across chest measurement, I'll go ahead and measure my bust point, which is 10. okay, so after measuring my bust point, I'll go ahead and measure. You can see I didn't remove the tape roll. Okay, I'll go ahead and measure my waist line, my half length. Okay, then I'm going to measure my hip. So on my half length, you come down by 8 inches. Okay, and then you draw the lines. Okay, so the rest, there's nothing to add to it. So the next thing you're going to do on your across chest, you divide your across chest measurement. Mine is 12, so I'm going to add 1 to it, making 3. So 13 rather, 13 divided by 2 is going to give me 6.5. so the 6.5 is going to be here. I'll now connect it. Okay, now on that across chest, okay, you're going to divide your bust measurement. Okay, let's just go to the bust point so that you won't get confused. So on the bust point, divide your bust by 4. Okay, my bust is 34 plus 8. Okay, plus 4 rather, or instead of adding 4, you can just add 34 divided by 4. Whatever you have, you add 1 to it. Now let's just go that way. Now 34 divided by 4 is going to give me 8.5. okay, this is my actual measurement. Since it's a shirt, does not have to be fitted. Okay, now on that bust, I'm going to add 1 inch for ease. Hope you are getting it. Then I'm going to add extra 1 inch for the seam allowance. Okay, on my waistline, my waist is 28, so I'm going to add, I'll divide my waist, which is 8, which is 7. I'll add 1 to each for ease, and I'm going to add one extra one, which is for the seam allowance, and then I'll connect it. Then on my hip line, the same thing. My hip is 36, so I'm going to 36 divided by 4 gives me 6. Okay, gives me 9, sorry guys. And I'm going to add 1 inch as usual, and then add, you can see, if you check, I didn't really waste fabric because I've already taken the measurement. Okay, so now whatever I have here, okay, now all these measurements we are doing, all these 2.5 inch are being excluded. Please don't get confused, because this one is where you are going to use as your placket. Okay, now these ones are not part of it. Okay, 0.5. Let me go ahead and cross check my measurement. This is 2.5. This is 2.5 for the placket. You can see it didn't affect it. This is my 6.7. Okay, so at 12, so whatever, now coming down to my bust line, my hip line rather, whatever I have, this is 11. I'm going to bring it down here, okay, to my length, and then connect it. So on my length, okay, let's, now whatever I have on the bust point, I'll take it up to the across chest so I can as well get my contour. So this is 11, the total is 11, so I'm going to measure 11 here on top. So now the distance from here to here, the distance from this 11 to where I measured my across chest measurement, whatever you have, I have 4 there, so whatever you have, you divide it by 4, and then you contour your armhole. You place it on this ankle. You can see the way I place mine, and then contour your armhole. Okay, so let's go. Okay, this is 9 inch. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines to meet each other. I've gone ahead to cut it, and this is it. Note, I've not slated this placket, the 2.5 that we added. Okay, so now, and you can see I still folded it and place it on the back. Okay, now we are not just going to cut it out, we are going to take the shoulder measurement. Okay, for the back, my back shoulder is 14, okay, plus half, plus 1 inch, making 15. So 15 divided by 2 is going to give me 7.5, and this is the 7.5. Okay, so on the across back, okay, just like here, the 7 inch, that's where you're going to place your tape roll. So on the across back, I'm going to measure, my across back is 14 as well. Okay, so, and plus 1 inch is going to give me 15. So I'm going to, that 15 divided by 2, this is what I get. Okay, and then here, and I'll connect it like this, and that's it. So that's the only thing we are going to do. The rest, we are just going to cut it like that. So let's go ahead and cut. So I've gone ahead to cut it, and this is the outcome. All right, so let's go ahead and measure the neck. So now, just like the way it's been folded, the placket is being folded, you're going to divide your bust. How to get your neck, you don't just assume. Okay, so you're going to divide your bust by 8. After dividing it by 8, you're going to add 1 inch to it. Okay, so after adding 1 inch, whatever you have, you divide it by 2, So I've gone ahead to do mine. You can use your, because I don't have calculator here, I'm using my phone. I've already done that. So mine is 2.5. Okay, so that 2.5 is where I'm going to put here. Okay, I'll bring it down by 3 inch because I don't want it to be too up. I'll still measure the 2.5. Okay, yours can be 3 inches, yours can be 3.5, depending on how busty you are. Okay, so on this ankle, I'm going to contour it, come up by 1 inch, and then connect it. That's for the front. Okay, note here is 2.5 and here I made it to 3 inches. So I'm going to cut it now. So for the back, I'm going to cut it just like the 2.5. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch and then connect. Okay, it has to align. Okay, and then notch the center of the front as well. Go ahead and open the slit. Okay, before we open the slit, we are going to, I don't want it to be just straight. Okay, I want it to have a curve. Okay, let me bring it up. Take it up. Now this is what I mean. On the down part, I want it to have that U shape, like that curve. Okay, so I'm going to take it up by, let's say, let me just say 4.5. Okay, so this is 4.5, this is 4 inch, then the half inch. So I'm going to connect it, shape it to this point. I just want it to have that shape. All right, so we are seeing, okay, that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to open the placket. I'm going to cut it out, divide it by 2. Remember, I've already notched the center, so there's no big deal there. Let me go ahead and cut it. So now the 2.5 inches that I had, this is it. I've gone ahead to iron it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to fold it. Okay, my iron is not, the wire is not that long, but I'm going to show you after folding it what you are going to do. Okay, so like I said, I told you guys I'm going to show you the wire to my iron. Okay, it's not that really long, so I had to do it before without you guys seeing, but this is what I did. Okay, the first inch after I folded, I ironed the 2.5. Okay, the first thing I did was to measure iron. The first measurement is half inch. So after ironing the half inch, I'll now fold the actual measurement. Okay, you can see now, and it's where I notch it. Okay, this is it. This is like 1 inch. Okay, so this is the outcome. So I've gone ahead to do this same thing on the other side. So exactly, you can see, make sure your iron is hot. I don't have hemming gum here. I would love to put it, but I don't have it. I will know how to sew it. I'll be careful. So this is it, the same thing now. After I finished doing that, I noticed I had excess, so I'm going to trim it out. Okay, so look at the excess that I'm talking about here. So I'm going to trim it out. Be careful if you are sewing it, using a fabric like this. Okay, I'm going to cut it out. So we are good to go. So if you want to cut facing for the back, if you love to cut facing for the back, you can do that, but I don't want facing. But if you want to cut facing, just fold your fabric, okay, and place the back on it. But right now I don't want folding, I don't want the facing. Okay, then cut it. When you get to this point, when you measure, let's say like It's not standardized. Okay, you can measure like 4.5 and then cut it out. Okay, shape it out. So that's it. So let's go ahead and sew it. Okay, so I told you guys I don't want facing right. I just remember that without the facing, the joining will be showing and it won't give me a neat finishing. So, and beside, I didn't want to since I'm not with hemming gum here, I feel it's going to be kind of hard for me, but let's just do it. And so now I said 4.5, right, from your shoulder point, 4.5. Okay, I just want point. I'll notch the center as well. So when I get to this point, I'll measure the exact 4.5 here all the way, or I might probably end up using 5 inch. Okay, so I think 5 inches is okay, and then connect it. You can give it any shape that you want. Okay, it's not too long, but this one is. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and iron it, then place it on the back, and that's it. Okay, so let's go. So now I've gone ahead to sew the facing, and this is the inside joining. Okay, this is the shoulder joining, so I'm going to go ahead and sew it down. All right, and after that I'm going to join the side allowance. So guys, I've gone ahead to measure to sew my facing, and this is the outcome. You can see there was no folding from the back. All right, so look at it. So, and I've gone ahead to join my seam allowance. Please, if you're here to subscribe to this channel, kindly do so, and whenever you're sewing, cut out your threads. Okay, cut it out. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and open the seam allowance and iron it properly. So from there we are going to cut the shirt collar. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you'll be the first person to get notification whenever I post a new video. All right, so let's go and iron it. Now I'm gonna ahead to iron it, open the seam allowance and iron it properly. Okay, so the next thing is for us to cut the collar. So the next thing I want to do is to measure the round neck of the collar, okay, of your shirt. Now remember I notched the center back. All right, so from that center back I'm going to go ahead and measure it round from here like this. Now I have like 3 inches there for the back, and I'll connect it. This is 8.5, total of 8.5. okay, look at it, this is 8.5. So let's go ahead and cut our collar. So now I'm gonna need to cut my paper. Remember my neck circumference is 8.5, which is 17 in total. Okay, so this is the 8.5, but I'm not going to use the exact 8.5. I'm going to add like 0.3. Okay, instead of like 0.3 to it for the sewing allowance. Okay, so now let's go ahead and measure the 8.5. This is the 8.5. Okay, and this is the 0.3, 0.3. So because it's two piece, this is the first color, the straight one. We are going to cut the one piece is, I'm going to measure 1.5 all the way. Okay, all the way to this point and connect it. Okay, remember from the center back to the shoulder joining is almost like 3 inches. Okay, so I'm going to measure the 3 inches. Okay, so this is the 3 inches, this is the 3 inches here, and this is the back, and this is the front. Okay, what makes the front to be more, because of the placket. All right, so this is it. Now I'm going to divide it. Okay, now let's go ahead and then measure the same thing here, do the same thing here. Okay, this is the one piece collar. So on the front you are going to come down by half an inch. Okay, look at it, this ankle, you're going to come down by half an inch and then shape it to this point. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm saying. You can see this is it, and then cut it out. So you are not going to cut it out. Okay, we can as well measure. I usually use 2.5, and like the total of it is going to be 2.5. Okay, but let's use 3 inches because of the sewing allowance. Okay, so 3 inches should be okay. No, this is not one, this is not cut together, so I'm going to still cut it out. I just want you to get the shape. Okay, now whatever you have here, you are going to take it up here too. So let's just do it this way and connect it. Okay, but for here, this place, you are going to measure 1 inch. Do you know how we got the 1 inch? Let's use 0.1.2, because after sewing allowance, after sewing, this place is going to return to 1 inch. So let's use 1.2 here. Okay, the reason you are doing I remove this is because of the placket, so that it will have fitting. Okay, you can see now. So now you're going to sew half here and sew half here, so the remaining one is going to be the length of your collar. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it now. I hope you get it. All right, but if you want to cut it together, I don't like the cut together collar. You can as well cut it like this, cut it out and then cut your fabric on it. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut it out. So now I'm gonna ahead to cut it, separate it from each other. But note, you're not going to leave the upper part like this. So on this upper part, this from the back point, okay, you're going to come down by half an inch. Okay, so from here, from the center, come down by half an inch. Okay, so that's the reason I said I don't like cut together, because it won't give me the actual fitting. Okay, you're going to come down and then connect it to this point. So you see the shape is not, the shape is there, and when you fold your, after finishing and you fold your collar, it's going to give you a nice shape. So this is it. You can see it's ready now. I'll go ahead and cut my fabric now and then put my collar stay. I don't have collar stay here, so I'm going to use paper stay. All right, and then cut it, gum it out, and you see the final outcome. So now I've gone ahead to cut it on the fabric, so I'm going to go ahead and fold half inch here. Okay, and that's where I'm going to sew, and then when you are sewing it, you're going to put this together and sew. So I'm going to show you the outcome when I'm done. So now our collar is getting ready. Now I'm gonna ahead to sew it. Now I'm going to measure, I'm going to go ahead and fold 1.0.2 in or 0.3 in, and then on both sides, and I'll sew the collar. So I will show you the outcome like I said. So now I'm gonna ahead to fold it in. Okay, this one is going to be the first sewing, and the second one I'm going to use it to turn it up. Okay, note, please, I didn't sew it to the end. Okay, so where I notch, look at it, I didn't sew it to the end. This is where I stop, and where I stop is where I actually used to fold it inside. Let's go and sew it. So now guys, you can see I've gone ahead to sew it. Actually sew it from the front. Okay, and this is it though. So from the back now, I'm not going to sew it from the back so I can get in its finishing. I'm going to start sewing it from the front. I'm going to fold where I've sewn, just like this place. I'm going to fold it inside, and I'll be sewing it from the front so that the stitches will be accurate. Okay, and please, a quick reminder, if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly do so, because you won't regret it. Honestly, So now guys, let's go. I'll come and show you the outcome. So you can see now I've gone ahead to sew it. You can see our finishing. This is the front and this is the back. Hope you can see. This is it. Very neat. And this is it. So the next thing we are going to do is to cut the sleeves. But let me check how the fabric is going to be. So now I've gone ahead to iron it properly, and this is the outcome. Okay, hope this is good. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Okay, so it's time to cut the sleeves. Let's go. So the thing is, I would have loved to make long sleeves, like the fabric would have been enough to make a long sleeves, okay, but I don't want it. Okay, so I'm going to make a short sleeves, a short turn up sleeve. Okay, so I'm measuring 12 inches, and then I will measure 4 inches to get my biceps. Okay, so on that I'm going to measure my, I don't want it to be fitted because the dress is not fitted, so 13 inches is okay. Okay, and my armhole, I'm gonna need to measure my armhole is 9, so I'm going to shape it. Okay, so let's cross check out. This is almost 9 inch, but don't worry. So there I'm going to measure whatever I have here. I'll add 1 inch for the seam allowance. Okay, I'll come down to this point and do the same thing. So whatever I have here, this is almost 8, I'll bring it down here and then shape it. So I'm going to cut it out before I do the turn off sleeve. I'm gone ahead to cut it now. I want the full length, like the length, the sleeve length to be like 8 inches. Okay, so this is 8 inches. So on that 8 inch I'm going to notch it, because that's where I want the turn up to start from. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this. Let me cross check it. Whatever I have here, this is almost 4, this is 4 inch and this is 4 inch. So I'm going to use my iron and iron it properly. So after ironing it, you see the outcome. So now I've gone ahead to you remember I notch where I want the sleeve to stop, so I've gone ahead to fold it, use my iron to press it. I would have loved you guys to see, but the wire is not really long. So now I've gone ahead to measure like ½ inch and then fold it. So now this is I want to show you the two methods to sew this thing neatly. So it is either you open it up like this. Okay, open it up like this and sew. So after you finish sewing, then you can open it again and then top stitch the center, or you just brace it down and then fold this to your actual length, okay, and top stitch the center and then sew it back. Any other, which other way you choose. So let's go ahead and achieve this. So finally guys, this is the one I choose because I'm still going to weave it and I want it to be neat. So now I'm going to go ahead on the center line. I'm going to top stitch a little and then sew the 1 inch that I actually put, and that's the end. So thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel guys, so that you always be the first to get notifications whenever I post a new video, and so that I can always be recommended by YouTube. Thank you guys.